I'd like to call this June 26, 2023 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Hazeltine.
Present.
Lamb.
Here.
Reading of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
move that the minutes of the regular meeting of June 12, 2023, as prepared and submitted by the clerk, be approved.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the minutes?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Reports of standing committee. The Finance Committee met prior to this meeting and had a lengthy discussion on a few items. And we'll meet again in 2 weeks before we go on to break. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Properties has a meeting scheduled for Wednesday, July 12th. It will actually be at the Spring Grove Cemetery at the Edward Mears Building. It begins at 5 o'clock, and we will have a meeting, and then we will also do a tour of the cemetery and some of the facilities there. Thank you.
Thank you. Special legislation, Mr. Lamb.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing to report, no meeting scheduled.
Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Water and Utilities, Ms. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing new to report. A meeting will be scheduled after the break. I had hoped to schedule it before then, but we do have multiple budget meetings on the days where we would normally hold a committee meeting. And I've also been told that before council is not a great time because of the interference with the Board of Control. So after we get through those budget meetings, which probably be after the break, then we will resume and have a meeting.
Thank you. Emerging Technologies, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no meeting scheduled and nothing to report other than the Citizens Advisory Committee is meeting on the 29th at 5 p.m. right here.
Thank you. Request for council action, several for the finance. We have 23-123 budget amendments, 23-124 transfer request for cable TV fund, 23-125 increase PO 23-692 Huntington Bank Police, 23-126 increase PO 23-163 Retzel Anders Law Department, 23-127 Community Corrections Grant Agreement Muni Court, 23-128 2024 tax budget, 23-129 expenditure for courthouse parking garage technology engineering, 23-130 expenditure to courthouse parking garage CNC Electric, and 23-131 MOU between the City Uptown 13-5 LLC and MCDC. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hanwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. The farmers markets take place on Public Square every Saturday morning. They started in May and they go through October 7th. And the hours of the public are from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And I appreciate Main Street, Medina, for organizing this ongoing event. The Medina County Band concerts are on Friday nights in June and July on the square, weather permitting, starting at 8:30. Medina's second annual Juneteenth celebration took place on Saturday, June 17th on Public Square. The celebration included guest speakers and live performances, including a Motown jazz group, food, music, youth activities, cultural and community celebration. And I appreciate council members Paul Rose, Denny Simpson, Reggie Hare, and Jim Shields for attending. And some of you also for helping set up and tear down. Our annual July 4th fireworks will take place at Medina High School Rec Center on July 3rd at dark. All are welcome. The service department the following day brings in sweepers and crew to help clean up the area from the fireworks debris. These fireworks are presented not only by the City of Medina, but financial contributions are also obtained from Medina and Montville Townships. And last but not least, the annual July 4th parade will be held July 4th at 4 p.m. It lines up at the Medina High School East student lot and then proceeds south on North Spring Grove to step off right at 4 PM, so we leave there about 3:50. 4 PM at Spring Grove and East Liberty Street. We go west on Liberty, south on Court, and east on Washington, and then the parade breaks up before it reaches Jefferson Street. The back lot of the courthouse is available again for people to go in and break down their groups or floats or whatever, as well as Garfield lot is generally open for that as well. Hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Durham, Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President. The last two items on tonight's agenda originated with Finance, and I will address those when we get to them.
Thank you, Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Sergeant Zaremba.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. The building department continues to be busy. We have several large building projects under plan review. The city continues to see major future growth along North Court Street, which will include 3 new buildings and 1 complete interior-exterior alteration of an existing building. Credit for the continued growth can be contributed to the North Court Street road improvement project that took place several years ago. That ends my report.
Thank you, Mr. Pacoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Update on a couple of our larger projects. I'm happy to say that South Prospect Street, the construction will be completed this week, and it will be back open to the public. That will not include the seating. That will take place early fall. Also, West Smith Road, we have our first mainline concrete pavement placement scheduled for Friday. Currently, our on schedule, that we'll have the western half of the project, basically from Prospect Street to State Road, all the concrete paved by the end of July. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Willie, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just 2 events to note for the rec center. On June 27th, this Wednesday, we're having Jungle Bob at the rec center from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This event is free to the public, and we currently have 370 children signed up, so we're pretty proud of that. On July 3rd, during the fireworks, beginning at 6 o'clock, we are having a food truck frenzy and foam party right outside the rec center from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Again, it's free to the public. There will be a DJ as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Walters, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Dutton, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. We have confirmation of mayor's appointments. If there's no objection, I'd take both of them at the same time. Hearing none, we have Jeremy Sack, Planning Commission, alternate number 2, term expiring 12/31/25, and Kyle Funk, Board of Zoning Appeals, for a term expiring 12/31/25.
I'll make a motion to confirm the mayor's appointment for Planning Commission alternate and Board of Zoning Appeals.
Sorry?
Any discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the confirmation of the mayor's appointments?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazelton.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Notices, communications, and petitions, none. Unfinished business, none. Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern that pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to the introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it could be entered into the minutes. Members of the public will afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meeting as determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time? Okay. Introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 105-23, 106-23, 107-23, Resolution 109-23, Ordinance 110-23, 111-23, and 112-23.
Mr. President.
Mr. Shields.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? Will the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazelton.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Ordinance 10523, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and to award a contract to the successful bidder for broadcasting and web streaming head-end video services for Medina TV.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Fry?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is discussed in finance where we currently have our web hosting services that handle our streaming for Medina TV on Armstrong Cable 201 and 37. The company no longer supports that service, so this is the request to authorize us to go out to bid to find another company to offer those services and looking to expand that into web streaming and over-the-top applications as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hazeltine,
Yes.
Lamb,
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 10523 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 10623, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for competitive bids and award a contract to the successful bidder for the Rocky River Stabilization Project at Huffman Cunningham Park.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This project will address the erosion of approximately 315 linear feet of riverbank adjacent to the athletic fields at Huffman Cunningham Park. The design plans are currently at 60% completion, and a permit application's been submitted to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The construction budget for the project is $200,000. We're hopeful that we can advertise and get this project going in the fall.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 10623 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 10723, an ordinance approving the 8th Amendment to the City of Medina Montville Township Joint Economic Development District and Annexation Contract, adding territory to the district.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mayor Hamwell? Oh, Andrew, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Pass it on to you.
Southtown Center LLC, the owner of property at 5827 Worcester Pike, Medina would like to join the Joint Economic Development District for Medina Montville Township. They have completed the petition form accordingly. The city, township, and the developer desire to facilitate the addition of the property to the amended JED district, thereby updating and amending the territorial boundaries of the district. The request is to amend the JED contract by bringing this parcel into the JED. A public hearing was held on June 12th with no opposition. We respectfully request council's approval. Thank you.
Thank you. And as a reminder, this is all voluntary. There's no mandatory requirement of anybody to join the JED. If the developer or the property owner would like to join, it's up to them. Okay. Any further questions? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Ordinance 10723 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 10823.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
I move that ordinance 10823 be submitted for reading only tonight by title as a second reading and no vote this evening.
Thank you. Ordinance 10823, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a lease agreement between the Board of Medina County Commissioners and the City of Medina, Ohio, for a lease of a portion of the Medina County Courthouse Complex known as 1969 Courthouse for the public purpose of operating the Medina Municipal Court.
Move to approve.
Second?
Any discussion, Mayor Hamwell?
Yes, sir. Just two things to bring to council's attention. When we discussed this at finance, I mentioned that Councilman Rose asked Dan Gladish to ask me to ask Dan Gladish to go over and take a look at the infrastructure of the building. And a number of things were observed. The roof may need some attention. The county was going to have that inspected after Dan's visit. The pillars on the front, which we believe to be structural, they're still checking into that, but they're deteriorating and may need either some attention or replaced. And then some of the mechanicals have been modernized with the equipment, but the mechanicals themselves are still from the original building. So I did ask the county administrator, sorry, I lost the word for a minute, to check with the Board of County Commissioners. And once Branstetter and Carroll, first we reached out to Branstetter and Carroll to see if they covered any of those things, and all they did was a spatial fit of whether or not we could accommodate the municipal court within the existing square footage. Excuse me, so none of these were addressed. They will do that if hired, or whoever we hire as the architect will in fact do that. And then once we get a price, I've asked the county administrator to check with the Board of Commissioners as to whether they'd be willing to forego the immediate rent to offset some of the costs that we may have if some of these things need to be addressed right up front. And then Mr. Huber also received a notice today.
Attorney Pat Walker wrote to me on behalf of the Medina County Law Library Association, so I just wanted to mention what she's writing about. In the proposed lease, the Exhibit A and Exhibit A/B seem to not adequately portray where the law library is going to be, and I think substantively, Attorney Walker is pointing out that the law library group have not agreed to the reduction of square footage for the library to being 2,144 square feet. And I think she's expressing disappointment that there would be a different location, a different space. So in this lease, seems clear to me, we're going to have to address an issue with the law library. We're tenants, we don't own that building, so I think the substantive conversation essentially needs to occur between the county and the law library. But I'm going to try to initiate meeting to discuss what the issues are and what the solutions might be. But we are being advised that this is a problem, so we're going to have to address it.
Thank you. Mayor Hanwell?
I just want to clarify, I do have a copy of that email. I'll share it with Chris Jacob first thing tomorrow morning. This came in the middle of Board of Control, so late this afternoon. It was the first chance we had to see it, and the county, to our knowledge, unless they also emailed them, who by the way, is the landlord, and will determine this. But I just wanted to put him on notice as well.
Thank you. And also, I just want to clarify, Mr. Hsu, we were talking about, it's the first reading. I think we discussed it at Finance, and for some reason, I thought it was the second one, and I told him second, but this is the first one. The second one will happen at our next council meeting, and the third one will happen at the end of August when we come back from our break. And I also just wanted to point out, I mean, we've been working on this. I think, of course, this went to the voters. The voters stated that they would like us to go there, of course, because we asked the question of that. And again, I just want to express my disappointment that we could not go to the new courthouse, because again, it would have been a couple $1 million cheaper. And as you know, I'm all about the money, but we're gonna have to spend a couple more million that we shouldn't have to spend to go to this courthouse, because we were right there to go with the new courthouse, and we'd have a new facility. So I think we have to continue to move this through the process. I hope everybody had an opportunity, or will have an opportunity, to read the lease. I've been through it numerous times and made my comments, and if anybody has anything that they see that may have been missed or may have a question on, maybe we can answer it. Mr. Huber, the mayor, or myself, or the county, but do take the time, because it's a long-term lease. It's at least 50 years long, and we just want to make sure that, you know, everybody has an opportunity to provide their comments to it. Okay, Resolution 10923, a resolution
I'm sorry, we didn't vote.
We're not voting.
Okay.
It's a second reading.
First reading.
I mean, first
reading.
Okay.
I apologize once again.
Yep.
First reading. Resolution 10923, a resolution donating 7 Dell computers to Medina City Schools.
I will make the motion, but I will have to abstain on voting for this one and the next one.
Second.
Sergeant Zaremba?
This is our continued partnership with Medina Schools. We have 7 computers that they can utilize in their labs and whatnot.
Any questions?
I just want to clarify, it's my employer on this one and the next one, so just to avoid any appearance of impropriety or conflict of interest, I'll abstain.
Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Abstain.
Resolution 10923 passes 6 yeas, 1 abstention.
Ordinance 11023, an ordinance authorizing the expenditure of Medina City Schools for the city's share of the pickleball court construction at AI Rutt Middle School.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion? Mr. Simpson?
Yes, Mr. President, emergency clause has been requested. I move to add it at this time.
Mr. Rose?
Second?
Is there discussion on the emergency clause and the ordinance? Mr. Worley?
Thank you, Mr. President. This project involves demo of 2 existing tennis courts located at AI Root Middle School and the construction of 6 new pickleball courts for use by the public. This project was originally discussed at Public Properties back in October of 2022. We have requested the emergency clause because the project is under construction and in process and anticipating some invoices soon. The total contract sum with Medina City Schools is $237,783. 50% city share is $118,891.50 of ARPA funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on the ordinance and/or the emergency clause? Will the clerk please call the roll on the emergency clause?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
No.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Abstain.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 5 yeas, 1 nay, 1 nay and 1 abstention.
Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
No.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Abstain.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 11023 passes 5 yeas, 1 nay, and 1 abstention.
Ordinance 11123, an ordinance amending ordinance number 22122 passed December 12, 2022, amendments to the 23 budget.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. As discussed at Finance, one of these is for the transfer, which is the next item on the agenda, and the rest are moving money around for, in compliance with various grants.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 11123 passes 7-0.
Ordinance 11223, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to make certain fund transfers.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion, Mr. Durham.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is to transfer what is equivalent to 20% less than the refund from Rita to the cable fund. This is because cable TV fund no longer brings in the revenue that it used to.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Lamb.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 11223 passes 7-0.
All right, council comments. Mr. Simpson.
After a lengthy finance meeting and the discussions there, I just want to remind everybody to be kind to one another. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Hare.
With the July 4th celebration ahead of us, I don't live that far from the hospital, and every July 3rd, 4th, I get to hear a lot of sirens. And I can't help but think that some of those sirens are people who have gotten injured due to setting off fireworks. So my request to the community is please be safe and leave the fireworks displays to the professionals. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to take a moment to thank both the SPCA and Medina Meow Fix for the wonderful work that they do for our community. Certainly everyone in our city has benefited from both of their services, and we are grateful that we can rely on those individuals to take care of those problems for us. Secondly, I was not able to attend the Juneteenth event. I was working at one of my 5 jobs at All Fired Up, so I did get to hear it, and a lot of the people that came in to paint raved about the musicians and how much they enjoyed seeing the diversity in Medina County and Juneteenth being celebrated.
Any other council comments? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.